Ancestors by Opal Palmer Adisa from the collection The Storytellers Return. When we learn the name of the nameless, we will not be nameless. The storyteller is soaking in a metal tub under the tamarind tree. Lavender, basil, and lemongrass perfume the water. She uses the loafer sponge to scrub and song her body. When we own what we know, our knowledge cannot become unknown. The birds are watching the storyteller bathing outside in the evening air. They gather on the tree branch, chirping their assent. But warning, mind you catch cold, you're not so young anymore, Before all that we have gets erased, register your deeds. Sweeten your yams with condensed milk and feed it to your children. Disavow modesty. Be purposeful, consistent, unwavering. The storyteller uses a calabash to pour water on her head. She closes her eyes, uses one hand to wipe the leaves that linger on her face. Mother Owl watching clicks her tongue. Thinking she sees someone, the storyteller calls out, "Is Duppy our living being?" No response. She giggles, but is not done. Me catch you. The storyteller nibbles on jerk coconut flakes, allows the rhythm of the drums to transport her. She sure forget cool now. Sips lemongrass and mint tea surging through her body. Every story has a night, and every gone home happens in a yard. The storyteller stands up in the tub, and Kumina's home.
English Girl Eats Her First Mango by John Agard. If I did tell she, hold this gold of sun, dizzy tongue, licking juicy mouth, water flow ripe with love from the tropics, she woulda tell me, trust you to be melodramatic. So I just said, taste this mango, and I watch she hold it. The smooth cheeks of the mango, blushing yellow, and a glow rushed to her own cheeks. And she asked me, what do I do now? Just bite into it? And I was tempted to tell she, why not be a devil and eat of the skin of original sin? But she would have tell me, trust you to be mysterious. So I just say, it's up to you if you want to peel it. And I watch you feel as something precious. Then she smile and say, looks delicious. And I tell she, don't waste sweet words when sweetness in your hand. Just bite it, man. Peel it with the teeth that God gave you. Or better yet, do like me mother used to do and squeeze till the flesh turns syrup. Nibble a hole, then suck the gold like Bubby in child mouth. Squeeze and tease out every drop of spice. Sounds nice, my friend tell me. And I remind you that this ain't apple core, so don't forget the seed. Suck that too. The sweetest part. The juice does run down to your heart. Man, if you see the English rose, her face was blissed down to the pinkish toes. And when she finished, she smiled and turned to me. Lend me your hanky. My fingers are all sticky with mango juice. And I had to tell she, what hanky you talking about? You don't know when you eat mango, your hanky is your tongue? Man, just lick your finger. You call that culture. Lick your finger. You call that culture. Unless you prefer to call it colonization in reverse.
The
this piece is entitled American Dream. Oh, honey, life changed when I boarded that iron bird, leaving behind all that I once knew, like parting with your favorite pair of panties that has made its time. As I stepped in the land that I was told was paved with gold, like a few master images I once saw on TV, flashed and faded as I slowly began to Photoshop myself into each of those scenes, just so I can continue to dream. Too black for those who didn't care to share their space with someone of my pigmentation, not black enough for those who struggled to accept a little island girl whose ancestors simply got dropped off at a different coast. A little island girl who called a shopping cart a trolley, spelled color with a U, and called a thorn a prickle. Colonized by the British and the French, struggling to hold on for dear life to my African roots as a daughter of St. Lucia, now in this place called America. Trying to make sense of who I am, trying to make sense of who I was, trying to make sense of who I wanted to be. I was a nowherer in a land I struggled to call my own.
This poem is entitled The Picture, and I came across this poem in a journal entitled The Antioch Review. I love the poem because of the rhythm it carries, the vivid images, and of course, the story. The picture. Under a parchment sky at dusk, beside a creek lined with old willows, a farmer turns towards home. A little stooped, he shoulders on his clay-colored vest, a wooden rake, and a broad scythe on the verge of his dark harvest. Months ago, I wondered how it would be to see this faded print on matting in a simple wooden frame when you were gone. Of this picture, or the artist, I know nothing. What I know is you bought it for your mother with your first paycheck and gave it to me when she died. I brought it west and through a dozen houses since, and all those years, never questioned scythe or harvest or whose the face was going home.
Life's compulsory game. Every move is real in the game of life. Every word or deed makes love or strife. Every baby born is bound to play. Every player plays to his dying day. If you play a good game, you would die all the same as would the player of a bad game. But a good player makes playing easier and the game a whole lot nicer.
A morning encounter. You crouched in anger, or was it despair? Your worldly goods strewn around you, a few rags, a tin, your cup, your pot, and most importantly, that huge stick that you held so tightly and brandished, daring anyone to enter your terrain, the place that you staked out as your own, that spot of seawall so close to the sea, so close to the roaring, rushing foam, so close to the softly lapping, sweetly caressing waves, so close to gentle breezes. Do the angry waves match your anger at the cruel world that sent you to this? This humiliation of spirit and body, sifting through the remnants of others' meals for a meal of your own. Is the sound of the soft lapping waves your lullaby? The sweet caressing breeze your goodnight kiss, as the concrete becomes your pillow, your mattress, your friend. You are still young and beautiful. Cruel fate, cruel world have sent you on the fringes, an outcast. Mad or destitute, I do not know, but I respect your right to try to salvage some dignity, to gain some respect, to claim something as your own. So I'll shorten my walk as the glorious dawn brightens the sky, the gentle breeze caresses my cheek, the soft lapping waves bring a balm to my spirit.
This poem was written by Mario Dan Rad, Sao Paulo, 1893 to 1945. My soul has a hat. I counted my years and realized that I have less time to live by than I have lived so far. I feel like a child who won a pack of candies. At first he ate them with pleasure, but when he realized that there was little left, he began to taste them intensely. I have no time for endless meetings where the statutes, rules, procedures, and internal regulations are discussed, knowing that nothing will be done. I no longer have the patience to stand absurd people who, despite their chronological age, have not grown up. My time is too short. I want the essence. My spirit is in a hurry. I do not have much candy in the package anymore. I want to live next to humans, very realistic people who know how to laugh at their mistakes, who are not inflated by their own triumphs, and who take responsibility for their actions. In this way, human dignity is defended, and we live in truth and honesty. It is the essentials that make life useful. I want to surround myself with people who know how to touch the hearts of those whom hard strokes of life have learned to grow with sweet touches of the soul. Yes, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry to live with the intensity that only maturity can give. I do not intend to waste any of the remaining desserts. I am sure they will be exquisite, much more than those eaten so far. My goal is to reach the end satisfied and at peace with my loved ones and my conscience. We have two lives, and the second begins when you realize you have only one.
Dear PTSD by Janelle Erskine. Dear PTSD, you say it's natural to feel afraid, but are you? Your only purpose is for us to have experiences that are shocking and terrifying that makes us feel defenseless. Is that really the way you want people to feel? With the thoughts, flashbacks, and severe anxiety we have that makes us feel weak? Dear PTSD, are you afraid? You don't know what it is like. The feelings we have are not natural. Anger, stop saying they are. Sadness, we feel pain. Fear, the shaking and trembling makes us scared to turn our backs. Detachment, we're pulling away from people we love. Dear PTSD, do you feel what we do? Do you see what we do? That one flashback from last night was triggered by a bottle falling. The continuous times I jump are too much. We're scared. I'm scared. It's not natural. It's traumatic. And that's mostly what we fear. Sincerely, teenagers.
I'd like to read a poem by Wilson Harris called The Well, subtitled Prologues of Creation. And it first appeared in the collection Eternity to Season, which was first published in 1954. But this is the edition of 1978 when he changed the last line, but otherwise it's the same as the poem that was published back in the 1950s. The Well. The fabulous well is the life of the world. Sparkling sun or gentler shadow dresses the clear stream from earth, the marvelous gloom of the world, translucent like a pearl. Each bucket rings on the pavement, the eloquent accompaniment to barefoot man and woman whose footfall is silent at the well. Who brings the water from the deep interior of earth is magical with the science of vision, is the godlike being of the well. Who bears the water away from the well is seasonal, death and drought, is the mortal being of the well. Each step has its witness and leaves its record, turns stone into echoing flesh.
Needing to Belong, written and read by Claudia Haywood, inspired by a stray dog that lingered by the gate. He didn't belong, but sat with eyes expecting, hoping that the keeper of the other four would one day open up his door of mercy and let him in. For he'd strayed away from his master that day and could not return. How his doggy heart did yearn for a family like the 4 or 3 that happily ran behind their master as he jogged in the cool of the day. And he, the little stray, would tag along, hoping that one day they'd see that he too needed to belong. So he'd sit at the gate, outside the gate, and stare and hope and pray that someday soon he'd slip in and stay in. 'Cause he needed to belong, just like you, like me, like you, friend, like the girl round the bend, baring her breasts for all to see, swinging her hips, stalking, hoping someone would notice not just her shape, but a heart, a weeping, lonely heart, longing to belong.
Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode?
The image of imperfection. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm sometimes fragile, sometimes all might. Sometimes I speak without thinking. I'm not perfect. I'm set in my thinking, sometimes quick to judgment. I'm not perfect, not half. I echoed your words, your phrases, your mood, your manner, your sentiments, your affections. I echoed you, took your lead. So where did I exceed? You're not perfect. You make mistakes. You spoke because you thought it. You spoke without thinking. When all's done and said, you gave up on me too quickly, without thinking, without talking. You gave up because you thought it. You acted without facts, on fiction, on one regretted outburst, one misunderstanding. You see, I'm not perfect. I'll always make mistakes.
Today I'd like to read a poem from the collection When I Was the Wind. It's written by a very contemporary young Korean American poet. Her name is Anna Lee Jones. The poem is entitled Exile. And that word exile and the status exile resonates with my spirit. I have chosen and not chosen this place. It loves me and it branded to me. This sand in my eye, the wind which speak to me only when I've lost my way, these rains that come to batter without satisfying my thirst. Each day, a visitation. The long nights of animal sleep, spooling out to leave their footprints at the door like departed guests. I push onward without you. Some days, the storms throw things at me. Some days, I am the storm. Some nights, I am the moth who trashes around the room, painting pieces of herself onto the globe of the lamp. We know that even stones can be borne aloft on the wind, to have the ground rise up to meet them in answer. Tell me, there's a place where the past can gather. Imagine me happy.
If We Must Die by Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hogs hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth Bahar Singh. I'm from Exile town, Belize. Little blue car. I was a year old or so when Daddy bought me my little blue car. When Mommy was mad, she said, "Go play with your little blue car." When Daddy hit Mommy, he said, "Go play with your little blue car." When Mommy drank from a bottle, she said, "Go play with your little blue car." When Mommy left for work, she said, "Go play with your little blue car." When Daddy brought his girlfriend home, he said, "Go play with your little blue car." When I started crying, Daddy put me outside and said, "Go play with your little blue car." So I crawled to the road to play with my little blue car. Then from behind me came a big blue car. I looked down from heaven with my broken little blue car. I see Daddy cry at my funeral, but I don't remember him ever playing with me and my little blue car. I look down and I see Mommy cry, but I don't remember her ever playing with me and my little blue car. The only thing I remember when Mommy and Daddy were at war was me all alone playing with my little blue car.
Comfort by Berkeley Semple. Larry knocks the comfort drum at wakes and weddings. He is dark and his fingers are long. He holds the drum between his knees and he thumbs out a comfort on the drawn calfskin. Sometimes he sings. Sometimes he gets lost in the rhythm of the thing, the rhythming. His eyes are closed tight and his head is still. But his hands move like a blur and he slaps something marvelous for the women to take wing and fly free when they catch comfort. The spirit thing, the Africaning of our atavistic past. The women lose themselves, their arms flail madly and they fling themselves wide and near. Often there is a quiet crying. Often I want to lose myself too, like these women. Fling myself from myself. But I am embarrassed to be so free. Why should I be? I've been known to hold a girl close, waltzing on a wooden floor, and I can swing, man, I can let loose. Larry will drum for hours, showing no sap of energy. The man going and going in a trance-like state. He is dark and his fingers are long. He smacks the drum and the women hurl themselves free, freeing themselves until there is a sense of heightening. The dancers and the dance aspire to something else. Larry knocks, but there is more than beat in the beating, more than music in the making.
Everybody Knows by Cassie Senghor. Everybody knows what a Chinese is, what a Syrian is, what a Lebanese is. Everybody knows what an Indian is, but nobody knows my name. Everybody knows I have a nose and an ear, the texture of my hair, who's light-skinned, who's fair. Everybody knows that I don't care, that nobody knows my name. Everybody knows Mary Dairy is full of grace. Adam and Eve started this race. the color of Michael Jackson's face. Everybody knows how to put me in my place by calling me some other name. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. But who cares where I come from? Everybody knows I mix with Spanish rice. I mix with German rice. Mix with French advice. But no one knows who mixed it. Everybody knows I'm an Anglican Catholic, Roman Catholic, Apostolic. Everybody knows I get all kind of licks, yet no one licks my spirit. Everybody knows I know nothing. I grow nothing. I have nothing to show. But everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows where my gold is. Everybody knows how to assault me. When on a mission, they try to console me. When their decision is to divide and control me. So now, I can't even recognize me. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows I'm the oldest from the forest, the blackest. Everybody knows my story, but not me, but not me, but not me. Everybody knows my glory. Why not me? Why not me? Why not me? My name is African. I come from Al-Kebula, and I mix with the blood of lion. I'm the strongest, I'm the craftiest. Everybody knows my greatness. Cradle of civilization, drum nation, mathematician, everybody knows. Everybody knows where time began, where the fatherland, where the motherland, where I first beat pan. Everybody knows who's the son of the sun. But the sun says I could run. I'm the original musician. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So stop the mocking, pretending. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. The beginning's the same as the ending.
A poem entitled No One Lives in the House Anymore by Cesar Vallejo. The poem is actually a prose poem, so it is not written in verse form. No one lives in the house anymore, you tell me. All have gone. The living room, the bedroom, the patio are deserted. No one remains any longer, since everyone has departed. And I said to you, when someone leaves, someone remains. The point through which a man passed is no longer empty. The only place that is empty with human solitude is that through which no man has passed. New houses are deader than old ones, for their walls are of stone or steel, but not of men. A house comes into the world not when people finish building it, but when they begin to inhabit it. A house lives only of men like a tomb. That is why there is an irresistible resemblance between a house and a tomb, except that the house is nourished by the life of man, while the tomb is nourished by the death of man. That is why the first is standing, while the second is laid out. All have departed from the house, in fact, but all have remained in truth. And it's not their memory that remains, but they themselves. Nor is it that they remain in the house, but that they continue about the house. Functions and acts leave the house by train or by plane or by horseback, walking or crawling. What continues in the house is the organ, the agent in gerund and in circle. The steps have left, the kisses, the pardons, the crimes. What continues in the house are the foot, the lips, the eyes, the heart. Negations and affirmations, good and evil, have dispersed. What continues in the house is the subject of the act.
The Schooner's Flight, Derek Walcott. Adios Carnage, Part 1. In idle August, when the sea soft and leaves of brown islands stick to the rim of this Caribbean, I blow out the light by the dreamless face of Maria Concepcion to ship as a seaman on the schooner flight. Out in the yard, turning grey in the dawn, I stood like a stone, and nothing else moved but the cold sea rippling like galvanized, and the nail holes of stars in the sky roof till a wind started to interfere with the trees. I passed my dry neighbor sweeping she yard as I went downhill, and I nearly said, "Sweep soft, you witch, 'cause she don't sleep hard." But the bitch looked through me like I was dead. A route taxi pull up, park light still on. The driver size up my bags with a grin. "This time, Shabby, like you really gone." I ain't answer the ass. I simply pile in the back seat and watch the sky burn above Laventille pink as the gown in which the woman I left was sleeping. And I look in the rear view and I see a man exactly like me. And the man was weeping for the houses, the street, that whole fucking island. Christ have mercy on all sleeping things, from that dog rotting down Wrightson Road to when I was a dog in these streets. If loving these islands must be my load out of corruption, my soul takes wings, but yet starting to poison my soul with a big house, big car, big-time bobole, coolie, nigger, Syrian, and French Creole. So I leave it for them and the carnival. I taking a sea bath. I gone down the road. I know these islands from Monos to Nassau. A rusty-haired sailor with sea-green eyes that they nickname Shabin, the patois for any red nigger. And I, Shabin, saw when these slums of empire was paradise. I'm just a red nigger who loved the sea. I had a sound colonial education. I have Dutch, nigger, and English in me. And either I'm nobody or I'm a nation. You ever look up from some lonely beach and see a far schooner? Well, when I write this poem, each phrase go be soaked in salt. I go draw a knot, every line as tight as ropes in this rigging in simple speech. My common language go be the wind. My pages, the sails of the schooner flight. But let me tell you how this business begin. Part 3, Shabin leaves the Republic. I had no nation now but the imagination. After the white man, the niggers didn't want me when the power swing to their side. The first chain my hands and apologize history. The next said I wasn't black enough for their pride. Tell me, what power on these unknown rocks? A spray plane Air Force, the fire brigade, the Red Cross, the regiment, 2-3 police dogs that pass before you finish balling parade? I met history once, but he ain't recognize me. A parchment Creole with warts like an old sea bottle, crawling like a crab through the holes of shadow cast by the net of a grill balcony. Cream linen, cream hat. I confront him and shout, "Sir, it's Shabin. They say he's your grandson. You remember, Grandma? Your black cook at all?" The bitch hawk and spat, a spit like that worth any number of words, but that's all them bastards have left us. Words.
This poem is entitled Known as the Caribbean written and performed by Roger Williams. Just as flowers bloom among old trees, yellow bells among acacias, hibiscus hidden under manchineel, a kaleidoscope and cacophony of people exist on these lands, making their presence seen and heard, and blossoming from hardened soils of genocide, slavery, and deceptive employment. Each flower, and that flower's shadow, represent a seed of indigenous resilience, African fortitude, Asian endurance, and a mad history of exploitation. But perpetually they bloom and scatter along the roads, valleys, rivers and lakes, gullies and guts, caves and caverns, cliffs and corners, blocks and buildings, of that kaleidoscopic appearance and cacophonic sound known as the Caribbean. Just as the ocean beats our shores with ebbs and flows, white and foam, or spirits of togetherness, oneness, unity, endure through the tides, always to replenish, sand among stones, pebbles on the land. Each pebble and its smooth nature represent our refinement, from rough, jagged discards to treasured works of art, admired, loved, prominent on display, all different but collectively made of minerals, hardened and beautified under pressure and torment, pebbles of that kaleidoscopic appearance and cacophonic sound known as the Caribbean. Just as endangered species sing in our forests and savannas, birds sing in treetops, and donkeys bray on plains, a pillau of tongues speak the truth of the people, lingua franca, peppered with Igbo words, Hindi phrases, and indigenous connotations. This is no corruption of language, but the evolution of a people, communicating with brothers and sisters who descended forcefully on these shores, speaking something a little different, but mainly beautiful. Antics of a kaleidoscopic people, and words of cacophonic sound, known as the Caribbean.